for everyone here at the New York Islanders.
And they are ready right now, Deb.
So are you ready to coach a second game?
I don't believe so. I think one is enough for me.
Are you glad you did it?
I'm glad it's over, and you know, I'm certainly very appreciative of the fans coming in tonight and staying at the very end. And of the players, the way they work very hard. And Nolan did a great job with the team. I like the team. They come to play every shift and every game. We had 5 slow minutes in the second period. After that, we controlled the whole game. And the Islander organization, they're on their way back, I'll tell you.
What did you think when Miroslav scored that go-ahead goal late in the third?
I couldn't believe it myself. I mean, it was just amazing. You know, he's a goal scorer, and he's been held a little bit back this year. But finally, he found the net, and he couldn't pick a better time. And
then as you were watching pictures of yourself when you were a young pup and just starting sort of through the years, and all of your family was on the ice, what was that like?
Well, it was very touching. There's no question about that. And I didn't think I was going to make it, but I finally made it. I'm still here. You know, it was getting a little touchy and a little sentimental, I guess.
Well, congratulations on 1,500 and on win number 740. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, what a pleasure it's been to have Al Arbour back this week, guys.
Just as much as a pleasure as it's been to have known him all these years, and the class with which he has carried himself and held himself is something that I think most fans of this team are well familiar with by now. And that's 13 Stanley Cups between Scotty Bowman and Al Arbour, and then you throw in a few more that Al won as a player with 3 different teams. Chicago and Detroit and Toronto, and well, that's the Mount Rushmore of hockey right there, isn't it?
It is. Throwing a Toe Blake as well once, you know. Just a great night, and to be a part of it as well, just been one of the real highlights for me and personally.
And a highlight for this franchise as well. Stick around, we've got a whole lot more coming right up. Welcome to our Hockey Night Live post-game coverage of a very emotional and special night here at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. I'm Howie Rose along with Billy Jaffe. Deb Kaufman and Butch Goring join us as well as Al Arbour celebrates his 740th win in his 1,500th game as Islanders coach, his first since April of 1994. And if you thought at first, is this some sort of gimmick? Well, just watching the expressions on not only Al, but all of the others who performed, whether they be the coaches as his aides or the players on his behalf, this was no gimmick. For Al Arbour, it's a win that he will cherish and treasure, and one that this team genuinely earned.
And needed. You know, they had a game the other night where they really had a nice methodical win over Tampa Bay, a shutout, and then they come into a very emotional situation with Al Arbour night tonight, but against a division rival in Pittsburgh that you really want to have. Again, you want to get off to that good, continue getting off to the good start that the Islanders have done. Surprised a lot of people, not themselves though. They knew that they were a good team. And they came through with a beautiful come-from-behind victory tonight. It was a ton of fun, too. These two teams put on awesome hockey games.
And don't forget something else about this. You know, it might have been a throwback, well, at least 13 years for Al Arbour, but for the Islanders, in some ways, it was a throwback to last year because Rick DiPietro got hurt, and Wade Dublowitz came off the bench, and he was perfect. He stopped every shot.
He was outstanding. Faced 7 shots. He had 1 or 2 big saves as well in those 7 shots. And look, Rick DiPietro played pretty well in addition when he was in the game, as we talked about those big saves he made when the Islanders had cut the deficit to 2-1. So to see Wade come in and to see Dublowitz make the big saves, to be very controlled, to be very, oh, no big deal. Here I am. I'm here to help out. And to see the team respond to that was nice to see. Very impressive.
And on a more pragmatic level, Miroslav perhaps is starting to get going now as he scored twice in this game. Was a slow start for Miro, but he turned out to be the hero as he had not only the game-tying goal, but the winner. He tied it early in the third, as you see, after the Islanders had fallen behind 2-0, and then he got the winner with less than 3 minutes remaining in the third period.
Now, you know, really good plays on both Miro's goals. Vazicek getting that great outlet pass from Andy Sutton, and then Bergeron punching the puck through, and Chatan being there for the right rebound. Here, we're going to take a look at Andy Sutton. He flips the puck out knowing that Vazicek is behind the line of the 2 defenders of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then he pulls up and hits Miro. Miro wastes no time going upstairs, blocker side. So we're all tied at 2, and then after a bit of a cycle, watch Bergeron right here. No slap shot, just a little wrist shot through. Bergeron rebounds it right to Miroslav Shatan. Stick on ice, no hesitation, to the back of the net, and celebration. And then Vazicek gets the puck at the end of the game and hands it over, rightfully so, to the man of the night, Al Arbour.
Well, Al is presumably not at all short on souvenirs, but I'm sure he'll treasure this, if only because he had no idea what to expect. He was nervous about it in the days leading up to it. He was uncertain when I talked to him this morning at the skate. But now Al Arbour is not only home at the Coliseum, he's back answering post-game questions at the podium.
What was that again?
What's going through your heart right now?
Well, I'm very touched and with everything, and I was very surprised at the end when I didn't know they were going to have that banner raised and taken down and everything else, and all the fans staying there till the very, very end. That really touched me quite a bit, and I'd like to thank the organization for asking me to do this, and especially the players that worked so hard. You know, we had 5 bad minutes in the second period, but otherwise they played very, very well and very hard, and Ted Nolan did a great job with the team. And certainly the general manager, Hank Snow, Jesus, I'm playing the guitar again now. And the general manager, Mr. Snow, and the owner, what's his name? Charles Wang. I'm really good at names, aren't I? I just tell you, I slept a lot in the last few years, let me tell you. But it's certainly nice to be here with the gorilla laughing at me over there. And if you have any questions, go ahead. I don't know what to say.
Considering that some of the greatest wins that you've experienced as a coach came on comebacks against the Penguins, how does this feel?
Well, it feels very good, but I really didn't do that much, let's put it that way. I mean, the players and Ted Nolan did the whole thing, and the coaches. But it feels very nice, let me tell you. I don't care if I'm a bystander or what, it feels very good, and it always felt good. And I was very blessed with all my years as a coach that I had all these players over the years. And they were all very good character people and good people, period.
What do you think about this team?
I like the team. I don't think there's a lot of big names on the team, but they all come to play. They play every shift. They play very hard, and they keep going till the very end, and they proved it tonight. They had 5 minutes in the second period where things slowed down a little bit, but they picked it up again, and away they went. Never quit.
You talked to them at all?
A little bit, not a lot. I talked a little bit, but not a lot. Not saying anything spectacular.
Was it vintage Al?
No, I can't say too much, let me tell you. I'm biting my tongue a little bit, but I couldn't say too much. They don't know me and I don't know them.
Having experienced the new NHL first game in real time, what did you like about the game?
Well, the game, first of all, the game at bench level anyway, it's very, very quick, and the size of the players, they're very big players, and they can all skate very well. And that's what amazed me the most, the size of the players and the speed of the players. They're constant movement all the time, compared to, we used to have a lot of grabbing and holding, and I think we slowed everything down to our pace. If we wanted it slow, we had them slow down. But I think, eventually they're going to get it right. There's a few things that I don't like about it, but overall it's pretty good. It opens the game up. I like that.
Can you be specific about what
No, I'm not going to be specific. I don't want to get in trouble. I've been in enough trouble over the years.
I'll tell you what, if what he's done constitutes trouble, the Islanders could use a few more troublemakers like that, because that's a whole big bowl of problems right there. 4 straight Stanley Cups and 740 wins, and Al was typically modest in his post-game comments, and I guess when your one-day contract runs out, you can forget the names of the general manager and the owner if you want, but it just shows you how emotional a moment it was for Al Arbour even after the game.
Yeah, I mean, he knew what it was all about, and he said a little thing to the team. I'm sure what little he did say to the guys in the room meant an awful lot, more than he even understands to those guys. A lot of those players, yeah, they might be very young, but they know who Al Arbour is. I talked to a lot of the guys on the team, and they understand what this night was all about. And it was all about bringing back the important people in the organization and the man who led the organization, along with Bill Torrey, for so many years in Al Arbour. And the respect that the guys wanted to show him by giving a good effort was really evident tonight. They had a bad 5 minutes, maybe even more. I thought it was a little bit more than that, but a bad half a second period. But they came through for him. They didn't stop skating. And again, he said yesterday, this would be the type of team I'd like to coach because they're good, hard-working, honest players.
They actually remind me of the first couple of teams that Al Arbour had, the 73-74 team, and of course the 74-75 team, which in its third year of existence went all the way to the 7th game of the semifinals, due in large part to the work of Al Arbour, who is back with many of his former players at the Coliseum tonight on a very emotional evening, which produced a very, very special and memorable game with the Islanders coming from behind. They beat the Penguins 3-2, and that's just one banner which will go up in Al's honor. They will raise a banner with number 740 later in the year. Plenty more coming up right after this. Well, there is a party of the other part tonight, and that is the guy standing on the bench, Ted Nolan, who goes back to his full-time job as Islander coach. Does he get credit for the win? Do you think he cares? He's meeting the media.
What did Al do for this game tonight?
Yeah, just by him being here tonight won the game for us. I mean, the players, when Al mentioned he didn't know all the names of the players all certainly knew who he was, and they were just like kids on Christmas morning dancing around the dressing room, seeing him on the ice this morning, or seeing him on the bench this morning, and just his whole presence. I mean, this guy did so much for Long Island, for hockey in general, and to have him almost like a living legend right with you, it was a great honor.
A couple of times I saw you lean, you could see you were leaning over to him. Were you asking him tactical questions, what to do in the game?
Actually, right towards the end, and Al was real nervous at the beginning, rightfully so. And we kind of said, this line's going to be up next, and he knew the order, and he went, Connery. You could just barely hear him, and I tell you, towards the last 7 minutes of the third period, you could certainly hear him. And I leaned over to him a couple of times because I thought Ben Walter and Simon and Aaron Johnson did a great job for us, and I just asked him, should we get two more shifts out of them? He said, let's see what they do. So you could tell he was right back in the flow.
How was Rick?
Ricky's going to the hospital as we speak and get evaluated, so we'll find out here in the next few hours.
Did you get him in the eye?
Yes, it did.
Can he see?
He was walking out on his own, and there's no bandages on it, so we're just hoping for the best, and we'll let the doctors and people of medical field look at us and hopefully give us a good result.
Would you say this team willed itself to win tonight?
There's certain games you win on hard work, and certain games you win on skill, and sometimes you will yourself. And tonight, I think, was one of those games. If you're going to write a script, you couldn't write one better, and that's what we jokingly said to Al going out to the third period. We lost the first period, we tied the second one, let's go win the third. It's written, and that's the way it ended up.
What was it like for you standing next to Al during the game?
It was a thrill. It was absolutely a thrill, and when Charles Wong gave me this opportunity to come to Long Island, certainly to know where you're going, you have to know where you came from. And I look up at those banners all the time. You look at all those names all the time, and one of the most important guys in this organization, along with Mr. Torrey, was Al Arbour, and to get him back here is you could tell with the fans here tonight. When they introduce Trotchy and Bossy and Harding and Cairns, I mean these we have to remember where we came from, and tonight hopefully it's a great start to head us in the direction that where we want to go to.
Well, now this includes the games that Al coached with the St. Louis Blues, his first coaching stop in the National Hockey League. Scotty Bowman, the all-time leader, is the guy who hired Arbour when Al was a player for Scotty in St. Louis, and Dick Irvin Sr., Pat Quinn, Mike Keenan, among the top 5 busiest coaches in the history of the National Hockey League, but none of them had the opportunity that Al Arbour did in this game, something he'll cherish, I'm sure, for the rest of his life.
And I think Scotty Bowman said it right with Deb Kaufman when she asked him, was it after the first period, about wanting to coach again. He said, no, I'll let Al have the oldest coach award. I'll have the most games, he can have the oldest coach award.
Yeah, Scotty's still in business, though, as a consultant with the Detroit Red Wings. Devin Butch will rejoin us in a moment. Here at the Coliseum, a very appreciative sellout crowd witnesses Al Arbour's 740th win as Islander coach.
There was a whole generation of Islander fans who watched Al Arbour bring to the Coliseum, 4 Stanley Cups, and now a whole new generation of Islander fans will be able to say that they saw Al Arbour coach behind the bench. Whether they were in the building tonight for scoring or at home watching it on TV, they were able to see so much of what fans for so many years saw in Al Arbour.
Well, it was unbelievable, and Al didn't want it to be his night, but really it was all about him. I mean, and you couldn't have scripted a better ending to a really good hockey game. I mean, in that third period, you saw an Al Arbour type of hockey team. I mean, they never changed a thing, and Al would always say, you know, I don't care if the roof's falling in, I need you to go up and down, let nothing bother you, continue to play your game, and good things will happen, and that's exactly what happened in the third period.
All right, how about for your generation, seeing all of your, so many of your former teammates out there with them?
Well, it's, you know, it's always fun to see the guys. We all seem to look a little older each and every year.
No, not at all.
But it, you know, it's fun because every time we do get together, it brings back a lot of memories, a lot of good memories. It reminds us of our accomplishments, and of course, we're always happy to see Al Arbour and Bill Torrey because they treated their players so well with such great respect. So it's fun to come back to see them because there's some coaches that, you know, I didn't like over my career, and there's some general managers, not all the ones that traded me either, but you know, you don't always have that very, very special rapport with coaches and GM, and these two people I think are very, very special, and it's just great to see them.
So everything tonight was about 1,500 games and coaching more games for one franchise than anybody else, but he is a legend because of the 209 playoff games that he coached and the 19 playoff series that he won consecutively, and the fact that he won the cups and won in the playoffs is why he is the coach that he is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what this team or this dynasty has done, I mean, you're right. I don't know if anybody will ever win 19 straight playoff series. It may never happen again. And Alan, and I said, Alan and Bill did it in such a way, and you know, I'm just going to give you a quick story here. You know, that one time Bill was concerned with my play, and I wasn't playing a lot at that particular time, but Bill, you know, said very clearly, he said, Butch, I don't care if you play one shift, you have to play well. If you're not happy with your ice time, then see the man. And really, when you have that kind of rapport between the two people, the two principals in an organization, that's how things get done.
And it doesn't seem like anybody enjoyed this more than Ted Nolan, who had the idea, who clearly was not bothered in any way by, you know, a legend coming back to coach along with them, you know, certainly not threatened in any way, although he did joke, well, we got to be careful, he does such a good job that he might want to come back.
Well, I think that's probably why I had him sign a one-game contract to make sure he kept his job in place. But no, Ted did a great job, and Al certainly acknowledged that you know, this is a Ted Nolan hockey club. There's no doubt about that, and he's done a great job with them. And he's got them to play the type of hockey that they need to win hockey games. And you saw, I think, a good sign tonight that it doesn't matter if they're down a goal or up a goal. They seem to be able to find ways to win hockey games, and that's probably the most important thing that's happening with this particular organization at this time is, you know, in the past they would find ways to lose games. Now they're finding ways to win hockey games, and that's just a huge step.
I don't know if sometimes we give players enough credit for appreciating the history of the game, but all of them clearly showed so much respect to Al Arbour this whole week during the practices, being around the arena, and then obviously having him behind the bench tonight, that they all knew so much about him. They had some, you know, even some of the players who weren't even born when he was still coaching, or it was really a little before their time. I mean, Bill Guerin talking about, you always saw him behind the bench with those glasses, and compared him to Vince Lombardi and some of the other of the best coaches around, you know, in any sport, not just in hockey.
Well, and it's the same thing. I think for all the people that like to play golf, you have a chance to play with a Jack Nicklaus. It's the same thing. You're in awe, and the good thing that happened tonight is the guys didn't forget to play, you know, because it would have been easy to sit there and look for Al Arbour to do it. Well, Al Arbour wasn't going to score any goals, so the guys got out to play. But you're right, they're sitting in the presence of a legend, and it doesn't happen very often that you have a coach that has this kind of success.
And of course, he wouldn't give any credit to anybody other than the players. I didn't come back against Pittsburgh again. It's the players. 51st win, by the way, against the Pittsburgh Penguins for Al Arbour, and we'll hear from the captain, Bill Guerin, who took the banner down when we come back. We are back on a very special edition of Hockey Night Live, Al Arbour night at the Coliseum, and the legendary coach of the Islanders came back on a one-day contract. He can't get fired. He can only get hired. He has fulfilled his obligation, and he helped to bring the Islanders a win. So they raised the banner of 1,500 games coached. He's now won 740 out on the ice as part of that amazing post-game ceremony. Was the captain, Bill Guerin, glad to be wearing orange and blue?
I mean, for me, I mean, being an Islander now, it's just, you know, represents what this organization has done. You know what it can do, what we're capable of, and it gives you a you know, a good sense of pride in being here and playing here.
Did he talk? Did he address you at any time today?
Yeah.
This morning or
the
game between periods?
Yeah, this morning at the morning skate. I mean, obviously he can't skate anymore, but he came out to the bench and addressed us, and you know, before the game, and read the starting lineup, and you know, gave us a few kicks in the ass to get going out there, and it was great. You know, it was a lot of fun having him around.
Bill, what did he say to you guys between the second and third period, if he said anything?
No, I mean, you know what, there wasn't really much said tonight. I think we were playing pretty well, you know, through the first, you know, 2 periods, and it was just, let's come out, stay in our game plan, and play just play the same way.
When you have a night like this, is that in the back of your mind at all, like maybe to rally, win one for Al?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we wanted to win this game badly, and you know, I mean, he. If anybody deserves it, it's him. I mean, he's given this organization, you know, more, just as much or more than anybody else, and you know, we wanted to win this one for him.
Al Arbour hadn't coached a team in almost 14 years, but he's still got it, letting the players have it when he wants to.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, listen to what Billy Guerin having to say, and you know, he's looking around, he's seeing all the pictures of you know, of our dynasty at that point in time, and I think that you can always talk about, you know, things that happened in the past. You know, the New York Islanders winning 4 Stanley Cups and all the pictures and all that stuff, but till you become involved in it, and I think this is probably one of the best things that's happened to the New York Islanders at this point in time with this particular team, is that Al Arbour being there and everybody sensing you know, his importance and his legendary career, and then watch the way the fans reacted, you know, at the end of the game was almost unbelievable. That they got so emotional, so loud. They almost like willed the team themselves, you know, to win this hockey game. So now I think the players have a sense of, you know, if they could accomplish something similar to it, you know, this is what goes along with it.
One of the coolest parts of the night was Al Arbour standing right outside the coaching office with Ted Nolan as the guys took the ice for the 3rd period and patting them one at a time as they went on the ice. And I thought, if you're one of these players, how cool is it to be taking the ice for the 3rd period and having Al Arbour, you know, follow you in?
Well, you know what? They should treasure that particular moment, because I'm telling you, when I was playing for Al Arbour, he wasn't patting me on the butt. I'll tell you what, he was giving most guys a good swift kick. So that was a rare thing to catch Al Arbour doing that.
Maybe he has mellowed.
I think he has. But you know, I am so happy for him, because you know, everybody keeps saying that he is such a wonderful guy, and he is, and he has so much class, and he's had so much success. But you know, when you kind of take one more step, you're never sure what's quite going to happen. And for, you know, for the game to end this way, and for him to have this kind of fairy tale ending to a very, very nice family, it's just great.
Well, he couldn't have been more gracious when he was here. He's gracious every time he comes back, and you can just tell why so many people have had respect for him over the years. He treats everybody he sees with the same kind of respect. So Al Arbour came back to coach in his 1500th game, surprised by one of his mentors in Scotty Bowman. They had a battle against the Penguins, a new generation of Penguins in Crosby and Stahl and Malkin. But it was the wily veteran Al Arbour who knew what to do. He was able to will his team to win. They got Miroslav going, and he scored a pair of goals. He was the #1 star on the ice, but really Al Arbour was the #1 star of the night. Couldn't have done it without the crew, Kevin Moninger and Larry Roth, Charlie Kuchera and Steve Daly. We'll be with you again next Saturday at 7 o'clock when it's the Devils and the Islanders. And actually, Al Arbour, did you know, won more games against the Devils than any other team in the NHL. So maybe the hockey gods will be with the Islanders again next week. So many of his players were there, so much of his family, and 7:39 will turn in to 7:40 on Al Arbour night. We say goodnight from the Coliseum, and the Islanders won.
This night for Al Arbour night, as Al comes back for a 1-game stint next to Ted Nolan on the bench, and as head man coaches his 1500th NHL game. How many of yours did he coach?
Well, I'll tell you, I can remember one of them, Duffer, and that was when we were playing the Pittsburgh Penguins, the first time I'd played them. And that was when the Penguins were winning Stanley Cups. Well, I was a rookie in the league, decided on the penalty kill, I'm going to hold on to this puck a little bit, try to waste a little time. I'm at the opposition's blue line. All of a sudden, Paul Coffey flicks the puck off my stick, throws it up to Mario Lemieux. It's in our net. Well, I go back to the bench. The trainer had to hold Al back. He's trying to get at me saying, why would you do something like that? What are you thinking about? Well, I jumped out for the next shift, got the puck, fed it to Pat LaFontaine. Patty ends up scoring a goal. We tie the hockey game. I get back. There's Al saying, hey, that's what I like. A little bit of character. Good job. So, Al, he was tough on you, but he also was fair as well.
This may have been the best character win for the Islanders on the season as they took on...
Papa for Islanders TV, here with the man of the moment, Al Arbour, victory number 740 in his 1,500th regular season game with the team. First of all, Al, how did it feel when you saw the third goal, the second by Miroslav, go in? What were you feeling?
Well, I was ecstatic. No, there's no question about that. Those players never gave up, and you know we started off sloppy a little bit, 5 minutes in the second period. But they turned it on after that, and they fought and fought. They never gave up, and they came back and tied it up, and he found a way to get the winner, and it was an outstanding finish. You couldn't beat that one.
Take me back to the beginning of the game when you walked out onto the ice for the first time again. What were you feeling?
Well, it took me a while to compose myself. It took me about 5 minutes because I didn't believe the crowd and the cheers and everything else, and the fans were just fabulous tonight, and it really affected me. And for the first 5 minutes, I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know anything about what was going on.
The players all talked about what you said to them before the game, and they were like, Brendan Witt said it was old-time hockey, the way you just talked to them.
Well, what are you going to say? You're not going to say too much. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. You know, they're all pretty good athletes, and you know, I'm so happy for them because they gave everything they had, and that's all you have to do.
When you saw the banner go up and you're there with your family, what did it mean to share this moment with your family on the ice?
Well, it means an awful lot to everybody. It means an awful lot to me because, you know, they put up a lot over the years, and I coached a long time, and I was away and with the kids, and the wife took care of everything, so it's nice for them to get a little bit of reward once in a while.
All right, the man of the moment, Al Arbour on Islanders TV, victory number 740 in his 1,500th regular season game.
What's going through your heart right now?
Okay, I got all these old players behind me there, and you know they want us here for the same BS they heard 20 years ago. What was that again?
What's going through your heart right now?
Well, I'm very touched and with everything, and I was very surprised at the end when I didn't know they were going to have that banner raised and taken down and everything else, and all the fans staying there till the very, very end. That really touched me quite a bit. And I'd like to thank the organization for asking me to do this, and especially the players that worked so hard. You know, we had 5 bad minutes in the second period, but otherwise they played very, very well and very hard. And Ted Nolan did a great job with the team. And certainly the general manager, Hank Snow, playing the guitar again now. And the general manager, Mr. Snow, and the owner, what's his name? Charles Wang. I'm really good at names, aren't I? I just tell you, I slipped a lot in the last few years, let me tell you. But it's certainly nice to be here with a gorilla laughing at me over there. And if you have any questions, go ahead. I don't know what to say.
Considering that some of the greatest wins that you've experienced as a coach came on comebacks against the Penguins, how does this feel?
Well, it feels very good, but I really didn't do that much, let's put it that way. I mean, the players and Ted Nolan did the whole thing, and the coaches. But it feels very nice, let me tell you. I don't care if I'm a bystander or what, it feels very good, and it always felt good. And I was very blessed with all my years as a coach that I had all these players over the years, and they were all very good character people and good people, period.
What do you think about this team? You know, what you see?
I like the team. I don't think there's a lot of big names on the team, but they all come to play. They play every shift. They play very hard, and they keep going to the very end, and they proved it tonight. They had 5 minutes in the second period where things slowed down a little bit, but they picked it up again, and away they went. Never quit.
You talked to them at all between periods?
A little bit, not a lot. I talked a little bit, but not a lot. Not saying anything spectacular.
Was it vintage Al?
No, I can't say too much, let me tell you. I bite my tongue a little bit, but I couldn't say too much. They don't know me and I don't know them.
Having experienced the new NHL firsthand now in real time, what did you like about the game?
Well, the game. First of all, the game at bench level anyway. It's very, very quick, and the size of the players, they're very big players, and they can all skate very well. And that's what amazed me the most, the size of the players and the speed of the players. The constant movement all the time, compared to, we used to have a lot of grabbing and holding, and I think we slowed everything down to our pace. If we wanted it slow, we had them slow down. But I think, eventually they're going to get it right. There's a few things that I don't like about it, but overall it's pretty good. It opens the game up. I like that.
Can you be specific about what you do?
No, I'm not going to be specific. I don't want to get in trouble. I've been in enough trouble over the years.
What do you think of the crowd tonight?
The crowd was fabulous crowd. Like I said, they stayed till the very end, and they cheered me on and cheered the team on till the very end too. So this is really my second home, and I've been in Long Island 27. I was in Long Island for 27 years, and I liked every bit of it. And the fans were always good, even when we had bad days. They were always behind us. And I'd like to thank them for coming at the game tonight. It was a sellout here, and they were very, very vocal.
You were here for Al Arbour Night 10 years ago, but this seemed different. Did it seem different to you? And how
it was totally different. I didn't realize how many games I had coached. Period. When they first asked me, I didn't want to do anything, and Ted Nolan says he thought about it and he wanted me to do it, and I said, well, I'll do it for the alumni, for the older players, and because over the years they've been overlooked, and I think right now that they need these guys, and we're all here to back them up.
Take a couple more for Al, and then we have Ted right here.
I might have a few beers myself.
How nervous were you?
I was very nervous when I first walked out and I saw all the people in the building and the chairs and everything else. It really gets to you. The first 5 minutes, you can't really concentrate on anything because the fans and everything else, the showing that they showed to me and to the players, and that it was overwhelming, and I finally got control of myself, and it was okay after that. I tried not to look too much at them, but they were very good. When I peeked once in a while, I saw they were very good.
Do you miss coaching?
Not a bit. It's passed me by, let's put it that way. I wish I was 20 again, but I'm not.
Thanks,
I enjoy what I'm doing now. Nothing.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you. You're very welcome. There's the man right here.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Questions for
Ted, what did Al do for this game tonight? You guys?
Just by him being here tonight, won the game for us. I mean, the players. When Al mentioned he didn't know all the names of the players all certainly knew who he was, and they were just like kids on Christmas morning dancing around the dressing room, seeing him on the ice this morning, or seeing him on the bench this morning, and just his whole presence. I mean, this guy did so much for Long Island, for hockey in general, and to have him almost like a living legend right with you, it was a great honor.
A couple of times I saw you lean. You could see you were leaning over to him. Were you asking him tactical questions, what to do in the game?
Actually, right towards the end, and Al was real nervous at the beginning, rightfully so. And he kind of said, this line's going to be up next, and he knew the order, and he went, Connery. You could just barely hear him, and I tell you, towards the last 7 minutes of the third period, you could certainly hear him. And I leaned over to him a couple times because I thought Ben Walter and Simon and Aaron Johnson did a great job for us. And I just asked him, should we get two more shifts out of them? He said, let's see what they do. So you could tell he was right back in the flow.
Ted, how's Rick?
Ricky's going to the hospital as we speak and get evaluated, so we'll find out here in the next few hours.
Did you get him in the eye?
Yes, it did.
Can he see?
He was walking out on his own, and there's no bandages on it, so we're just hoping for the best, and we'll let the doctors and people of medical field look at us and hopefully give us a good result.
Would you say this team willed itself to win tonight?
There's certain games you win on hard work, and certain games you win on skill, and sometimes you will yourself. And tonight, I think, was one of those games. If you're going to write a script, you couldn't write one better, and that's what we jokingly said to Al going out to the third period. We lost the first period, we tied the second one, let's go win the third. It's written, and that's the way it ended up.
What was it like for you standing next to Al during the game and coaching?
You know, it was a thrill. It was absolutely a thrill, and when Charles Wong gave me this opportunity to come to Long Island, certainly to know where you're going, you have to know where you came from. And I look up at those banners all the time. You look at all those names all the time, and one of the most important guys in this organization, along with Mr. Torrey, was Al Arbour, and to get him back here is you could tell with the fans here tonight. Yeah, when they introduced Trottier and Bossy and Harding and Guerin, I mean these. We have to remember where we came from, and tonight hopefully it's a great start to head us in the direction that we want to go to.
Top of with Scotty Bowman, the man who owns all the coaching records in the NHL. You know, I guess first of all, you know, Scotty, what is it like for you to be here and share this moment with your good friend Al Arbour?
I just finished telling him you can't do any better as a coach if you win your last game, and he says, "I know it's my last game." So it was great to come. I mean, you got invited, and I wouldn't miss it. You know, we live close together in Florida, but they wanted to keep it a secret, so I haven't been able to talk to him for a couple of weeks. But it was great to be here.
You know, standing outside the Islander locker room, a lot of the people were saying after the Islanders win 3-2 that it was the perfect script, the way things went. Have you ever seen a game on a night where you're honoring a guy that goes just like this?
No, I mean, because usually when you have a ceremony, that's when you fall flat on your face, and it was important for the Islanders because they had a full house. The crowd was looking for something, and you know, a good 2-0 deficit, come from behind, win it with a few minutes to go in the third. I mean, you couldn't write a better script, really.
Now, Al Arbour came back coaching for the Islanders. What about you? You ready to come back and talk to a team?
No, I won. I coached my last game and we won it. I'm not coming back.
It's like when you play hoops, you have to get your last shot and then you leave the court.
I'm not coming back, yeah.
I used to be an intern with you a long time ago. Do you even remember me?
No, I don't.
I do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Scotty Bowman. Thanks a lot for coming out here tonight on Al Arbour Night.
Yeah, this morning at the morning skate, I mean, obviously he can't skate anymore, but he came out to the bench and addressed us, and you know, before the game, and read the starting lineup, and you know, gave us a few kicks in the ass to get going out there, and it was great. You know, it was a lot of fun having him around.
What did he say to you guys between the second and third period, if he said anything? No,
I mean, you know what? There wasn't really much said tonight. I think we were playing pretty well, you know, through the first, you know, 2 periods, and it was just, let's come out, stay in our game plan, and play just play the same way.
When you have a night like this, is that in the back of your mind at all? Like maybe rally, win one for Al?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we wanted to win this game badly, and you know, I mean, he, if anybody deserves it, it's him. I mean, he's given this organization, you know, more, just as much or more than anybody else, and you know, we wanted to win this one for him.
Just having been involved in this event, you know, what does it do for this whole team, you know, going from here on?
This is a big honor for us to be involved in this, and you know, to have him here tonight, and you know, like I said, it gives us this good sense of pride in ourselves and in the organization. I mean, we're all happy to be here. We all want to be here and play for this organization, and you know, it's got such a rich tradition, and you know, it's great to see all the other guys come around too. You know, Bossy's always around. You know, Gillies, Nystrom, I mean, Patty LaFontaine. These guys are around, and they're the players that made it great.
What did it mean to score the 2 goals in the third period and win this game for Al Arbour?
We knew we get only one chance to play for a legend, so definitely to win a game and do it for him, and you know, in a round number like 1,500 games and 740 wins, that's pretty special. I think that's something we're gonna remember, you know, for the rest of our careers.
What was it like for him to speak to you guys at the morning skate?
That was great. You know, you could see that you know, basically he was telling us the same things we hear from our coaching staff, and you know, so that didn't change over years, but definitely was special to hear it from him.
Is it in the back of your mind when you're out there playing that, you know, we can win one for this guy?
Yeah, definitely we were trying to do that, and like I said, it's only one chance, and you know, we I think took the game over in the second half, and you know, played really well and pressure hard, and didn't score on so many chances. So finally, in the third period, we were able to take the game over.
Can you tell me your feeling and what it means tonight? Is it more special to win a game like this when Al Arbour's back there coaching?
Definitely. I mean, he's a legend here on the island, and you know, to be able to just play for him, you know, him coming in before the game was just a great honor, and help him get, you know, the 740 win is even a bigger honor, and just to be part of that, part of history, and you know, I congratulated him afterwards and said it was such a good honor to you know, play for him, and you know, it's great just to be part of it.
What is it like when a Hockey Hall of Famer talks to you guys before the game at the morning skate?
It's you know, it was kind of funny how he came in here before the game. He was just, you know, said old school, just said, you know, Sillinger lines up with Martinek, DiPietro, go give him hell, boys. That was it. You know, it reminded me of, like, you know, Slapshot. You know, that was it. You know, the late 70s, 80s kind of pep talk. So, you know, very light, you know, and have fun.
Mike said you guys had a good game plan. I'm sorry. Bill Guerin said you guys had a good game plan and that you were willing to stick with that game plan into the third period. Putting that aside, you know you had the game plan, but were you thinking we can win one for this guy?
Definitely. I mean, we wanted to win this, you know, no doubt. But, you know, we couldn't play out of our element. You know, we're a type of team that likes to play it on the wall and cycle the puck. You know, that's our bread and butter. We're not a fancy team. You know, we're not going to kid ourselves. And for us to have success, we stick with the game plan, and it paid off. And
I don't know where you were when the goal was scored. Were you on the ice or were you on the bench?
No, I was on the bench. I was on the bench when Miro put that in, so it was good.
Was your initial reaction to turn around and look it out?
No, because I knew there was still 4 minutes left in the game. There was still, you know, a little, you know, 3 minutes left, so there's still a lot of time. And you know, after the final buzzer went, when I had the puck in the corner, you know, I knew it was a, you know, it was a huge deal, a big part.